A longtime friend of the Economic War Room is my friend, Kevin Jessip. Kevin's got a great background from gsaministries.org, but also you probably heard of him because of The Return. And he's had these amazing events with fabulous speakers, some of the best speakers in the world. He knows everybody as a who's who around the world, but particularly in ministry, Christian circles, economics, politics, and so forth. He's a friend. I'm thrilled to have him as a guest in the Economic War Room, and he brought another guest with him, and I'll let you introduce you, Kevin, and you introduce your friend, Robert.
Thank you, Kevin. It's such an honor to be with you. Your show and your audience is having impact. I appreciate the ministry and the business sense that you bring to America today, especially in these times. And I am so honored and privileged to have Robert Ilatov, a former Knesset member for over 13 years, an advisor to Benjamin Netanyahu. He was also formed and started the Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast with President Reuven Rivlin back in 2017 inside the Knesset.
But Kevin, we're looking at these riots in Israel. You saw the riots that we had here. What's behind those?
Well, I believe this is a global anti-God agenda that we're seeing. It's almost a satanic, demonic movement where people are delusional and they would rather believe a lie than the truth, and not knowing that they're harming themselves. We saw this in the election recently in Brazil. We're seeing this happen all around the world, and so it's really an anti-God thing. You know, the Judeo-Christian values that Israel and America represent, the globalists don't want God in the picture. The communists don't want God. The Islamists don't want God. So we're facing the blue, the red, and the green, and yet we are the two last bastions of hope in all the world. And it's those who believe in the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the one true God. We believe in him, and he is sitting on the throne. He's still in control, but yet we're watching this anti-God spirit trying to crush Israel and America and remove all Judeo-Christian values. That's what we're up against.
Well, people don't realize this. That was the spirit. You know, we had two revolutions in the 18th century. One, the American Revolution, but then there was the French Revolution. The American Revolution was pro-God, pro-individual liberty. French Revolution was a rejection of God. And we see the outcome, the guillotine, and you know, really the destruction of the French nation. Really, it was a major power with Napoleon, but it has gone downhill since. So do you see those parallels?
Oh, I certainly do. In fact, the wars that we're fighting now are on many fronts. It's not just a military war. It's a spiritual war, most importantly, but it's a cyber war. It's an economic war. It's an intellectual war. It's a culture war. It's an ideological war. And we have many proxies and many enemies on every one of those fronts. Excuse me. So we're facing multiple wars at the same time. This is not just a military, but it's ideological and all the other items I just mentioned.
Unrestricted warfare, as we talk about in the Committee on Present Danger. Robert, from your perspective, do you see that global picture? I know you shared a little bit about what you see happening in Israel, but do you see it happening around the world as well?
Yes, of course. All this, it starts with Jews. It's never ends in Jews. So when you're asking me if I see it as global, of course, we can see the boycott against Jews in German Nazis after Nuremberg laws in 1935. And it starts with boycott and terror against Jewish population of Germany, and it's continued to Europe and to the Jewish catastrophe with killing 6 million Jews. Of course, it starts with only with Jewish perspective, but it's continued to the Second World War. So we see today the problem connected to Iran nuclear program, to Iran supporting the terror all around the world and exporting terror and give money to them. We see it with terror of Palestinians that come with all the human rights organization against Israel, that they trying to demonize Israel everywhere they can. We see it everywhere. So when we see what's happening in Israel, it's not only perspective what's happening in Israel. This is the perspective what's going to happen with all the world, because what starts with Jews, it's never end with Jews. It will continue.
No question about it. So I interviewed a new friend, Eric Metaxas, recently, who wrote a letter to the American church. He's famous for having written the book Bonhoeffer, where he warned the American church we're going down the wrong road, just like the German church did in the 1930s. It's the same evil rearing its ugly head again. Now, you mentioned Iran. President Biden and President Obama before him favored Iran over the Saudis. And it seems as if President Trump interrupted that, but it seems as if President Biden's doing the exact same thing. How is that perceived inside Israel?
I think this is a big mistake not to act against Iran, because Iran is not only enemy of Israel. Iran, the enemy of all the free world. Of course, they want to attack the Sunnah, Saudi Arabia, and all the neighbors. But we see Iran involved in all the countries in the area. We see Iranians support Hezbollah. Hezbollah have today 150,000 missiles targeting to Israeli peace people that only think they want to live in peace. And we know what the damage can be only with 100 missiles. We see it in other conflict, Russia and Ukraine conflict, what the damage can do 100 missiles. We're speaking about strategic numbers, 150,000 missiles. It's a strategic threat for Israel. Who support it? Who bring it to Hezbollah? Of course, Hezbollah can't produce such numbers of missiles. We see the troops of militia, of pro-Iranian militia in Syria, and troops and the powers that they trying to establish in Syria years after they finished with the terrorists, like they call to opposition in Syria. They finished in this opposition in Syria, and they have had to leave, but they stay there. What the reason to stay there military in north, in the south of Syria, north of Israel? Yeah. We understand what the target of Iranians powers to stay in Syria.
How can Americans, Israel is a very creative nation, a very advanced technology, brilliant, I believe, dropped by God understanding of how to build and create. Israeli tech is fantastic. How do Americans invest in it?
First of all, they have to be in contact with us. We have our site, Negev HiTech.com, and to get more information about the project to see, and we will send to people who will decide to be the partners with us, and of course to connect with our companies and our partners to be involved in this project. And people who want to support, they can donate to this project, and we will build the infrastructure to newcomers and new families, new engineers in the Negev, in Arad city. This is very small town with 30,000 people who lives in the Negev. We have to help them and to build new structures of bringing new Olim Chadashim, newcomers to the Negev.
So, and where do you find out information? Is there a website?
Negev, Negev, HiTech, HiTech.com. NegevHiTech.com. And this is going to be, it's establishing an Israeli Technology Innovation Center in Arad, Israel. This project is going to be an ecosystem model consisting of dynamic community of students, teachers, researchers, representatives of the high-tech industry. And primarily it's going to be focusing on building an advanced economic infrastructure for industry to produce quality human capital that will enable Israel to continue to be not only a leading technological powerhouse, but for every engineer, that statistics prove that they create 4 jobs. So the building of housing, we're building out a center now in Arad with videos and fly-throughs of exactly what this is going to look like, with information, and eventually people will be able to tour the Negev project and see it for themselves. And it's inviting the best minds of the world to come to meet the felt needs of nations, equip them, and send this technology back out around the world. Agriculture, communications, water, all sorts of things that will meet the felt needs of nations.
Well, it's very innovative. It's an opportunity for investors to apply. We know we're in an economic war. It's not always about the money, but many times it's about the money. China is about the money. Even the Islamic radicals are in certain times about the money. And so to have an innovation center in Israel that people from around the world can invest in, which creates an opportunity to defend Western civilization, I think that's a really good thing. And so I'm really proud of what you're doing here. I'm excited to share it with our Economic War Room patriots. And so that they can get on the website. I'm looking at it. You can donate. You can learn more. There's phone number and email address if you want to learn more. Any last word? We have just about half a minute.
I wanted to say thanks to all our supporters around the United States and the world who love and bless Israel, who pray for the peace of Jerusalem and the people of Israel. And that's all.
Well, thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you, Robert, for being a part of the Economic War Room. I mean, we say this all the time. We say what we see as a marketplace, our enemies see as a battle space. That's what BDS is. It's a battle space economically against Israel, against freedom. So I'm grateful for all the good work that you're doing. This is Kevin Freeman from the Economic War Room.